was an athlete in high school. I ran track a couple of years in college at Boise State University. And I got hurt a couple times. And I walked out of the training room feeling better than when I walked in. And I was just fascinated with how those athletic trainers could make the injuries fade away, basically. I can combine medicine with athletics. And so I was kind of hooked ever since from then. 15 years ago, Bullriders started to form their own organization. And so a few of us that had been working in the sports medicine program with rodeo migrated over to the bull riding sport. They're all athletes, they just happen to be riding bulls. It's an extreme sport. They would be riding motorcycles or jumping off of buildings if they weren't riding bulls. Game day is a very upbeat day. The athletes come into us sometimes in not very good shape, or their neck hurts, or their shoulder hurts, or their back hurts, or their knee hurts, and we're able to progress them far enough that they can ride that night. Part of the satisfaction of just working with athletes and allowing them to compete, it's no different at the college level or the professional level.
I was still thinking about med school in the background. It was one of those things where when I started working in the athletic training room and traveling with teams and working with athletes, it was something that really clicked. I was pretty fortunate that at Nevada there's a sports med complex that had physical therapy in the building also. So I went and worked in the clinic, in the physical therapy clinic. That's where I really learned a lot of manual skills, learned a lot of rehab, and that actually gave me the opportunity to start doing these because I had weekends off. So I always tell a lot of students, you never know what you're going to enjoy and what it's going to lead to. It's a lot like anything else that goes on in a regular athletic training room. It's just that, like I said, we're always away. We don't have any home games. It's different in the fact that we only see our athletes on the weekends. We don't see them during the week. So it's very similar to working game day football, but not having to cover any of the practices. We're always going to new venues, so the coordination of knowing where our room is and how that affects how we're going to take care of the athletes out in the arena. It's a very fluid type of situation. I miss the athletes, in every situation. Working in high schools, those kids are fun. You watch those kids, especially when they're freshmen to seniors, you watch those kids grow up. You do miss that aspect in the high school. In the college setting, you get some of these guys for 4 years, so you build some pretty good relationships. I still talk to a couple of the athletes I used to work with. You get a lot of that here. Some of these guys have been on tour for 10 years. I've seen these guys since they were 18, so you still get some of that. So it's very similar to what we used to do, but it's just not on a daily basis. With having a new child, that's a little bit different. That's something new to me. That has made it a little bit harder to be on the road, because when I leave, it seems like every time I leave, even if it's for 3 or 4 days, I come home and it feels like she's gotten a little bit bigger, she's doing something different. So that's changed a little bit. We do see a lot more trauma, more than what a typical athletic trainer would see, even in their lifetime career as an athletic trainer.
As far as injuries go, we see a lot of head and neck injuries and back injuries. That's probably the most prevalent thing that we see.
It's one of those things where you have to have some type of disconnect. I try to stay really focused, especially when I'm covering the arena, that I'm more concerned about how well the job that I'm doing and how I'm doing it, versus concentrating on who's getting hurt or what's happening to them. That is something that you can think about later.
It's man versus beast, and the beast is much stronger than the men are. There are so many similarities between professional and college athletes, but the big differences that are involved with the sport of bull riding, and it would be nice for people to be able to see some of those differences.